strike of a light bulb. I just air it out and leave with the mic broke. Your micro, I'm hard body like Tycho. Heavy metal Chevys with nitro. Addicted to the vapors of paper. Hypnotic to the thirst of pulling off criminal capers. I know the cocaine crackery stinks, but that's what it is. Surrounded by the khakis and minks. We move.
Man, that was a long segment.
Maybe just because you kept getting stuck on hacker puzzles.
I also kept dying to your giant robot torsos.
Yeah, that's right, you did.
Those guys are brutal, man. What the hell were you thinking? I remember this level was a nightmare for frame rate, right?
It's a big open area. There's not a lot of stuff to occlude what's going on everywhere.
Yeah,
so that's always a bit of a problem.
And there's a ton of switchbacks, but with really thin walls, you know, so you could never really get far enough away from enemies that they would turn off.
I remember this was also the level. This was the level that triggered the Sharkagator discussion for Ratchet and Clank 3.
Which tell me about it. I don't remember.
I mean, it's the standard argument that happens in every single Ratchet and Clank game. Like, we're not going to use the Sharkagator, then, are we? And then it's always like, yes, we are going to use the Sharkagator.
I love that he's the Sharkagator because I don't think we ever call him that anywhere. Like, I don't think anybody would ever have any reason to know that he's a Sharkagator. But yeah, we always thought, oh, let's come up with something that is different than the Sharkagator, and
it never happened.
This is a boss battle, right?
He will become a boss battle, yes.
Do you remember who coded this?
Moo did.
Moo did, okay.
We were just talking to Moo about this.
About the helicopter
He mentioned it on our podcast.
Shit. Well, you know what? At least I remember what Moo does, not like you who forgets what Billy does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sits around and talks on the forums all day. That guy.
Now we've mentioned Billy twice. I think he owes...
Bill, yeah, he should be happy now. We're doing it in such a positive way, too.
He, at this point, he owes us money, I think. This is hard. I don't... Oh, fuck!
Oh!
What? What? That's
right
bullshit!
Under your feet. That is kind of bullshit.
Oh, I can't believe that happened. I can't even blame you for that, can I?
No, that's all Moo. Right out from under you.
All right, let's not have that happen again. All right, Tony, I'm gonna need you to talk about something so that I can concentrate on not dying like an idiot. Well, you know what? This is a good time. Let's talk about shadow volumes.
I don't know how much there is to say about shadow volumes. I mean, it's an interesting effect. It was Keith came up with it. Keith Lee.
Right.
I think we've talked about it a little bit before.
Mm-hmm.
In this game, he was mostly in charge of doing weapon effects.
Right.
Is what his primary task was on this game.
And he kicked ass at weapons effects.
He did a really good job with
man.
it.
Yeah, this is a beautiful, beautiful game for effects.
And so we talked in the last podcast about our organic death effect and how hard it was to always come up with the way that
right.
sort of thing worked. And so he wanted to sort of improve on that organic death effect and give it a little bit more shape on the characters when it came off of them.
Right.
And so the way shadows work in Ratchet and Clank, and this was also one of our first development tasks, Mike, for you and me.
Yes.
One of the first things that we ever got into the game proper, was shadows.
Yep, we did shadow volumes, crate placements, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So the way I never did crate placements. Don't lump me into that category. I was always above that, even at my lowest.
Oh man, yeah. I think you were just too good for it. That must have been what it was.
And so shadows in Ratchet and Clank are all done by hand.
Right. You'll notice that the shadow that Ratchet casts actually kind of looks like him. Down there at the bottom.
You can stop and look. Let's stop and look for really quick. See, look at that shadow. Look how amazing that is. So that's all done by hand, and basically you go into the editor that we have, and you define a series of pills and spheres on the character and attach them to joints, and then you say this is the shadow, and then the engine will take that shape and project it down onto the ground.
Right.
And so since we had sort of all these spheres and pills defined on the character, Keith was just kind of like, I can just piggyback onto that and then just create particles defined by the bounds of those spheres and pills, and then any effect that we create will look kind of like the character. And it's actually on the teleporter effect that we just saw back there.
Yep.
You see how there's some particles that come off of Ratchet's ears and stuff? And that's sort of done by the same way, in that it takes the volume of all the shadow pills that we've defined and will spawn effects within those volumes, or within those volumes. And so when you spawn maybe 100 particles, and say by using it with the shadow volumes, it'll start to take on the shape of the character that you're spawning it on.
Yeah, so
which is a pretty clever way to make sort of enemies fade out and have any particle effects sort of retain the shape even as the character is fading away.
And it was fairly efficient. It was a cheap way to do it as well.
Yeah, for sure. Because that data was already there, and we were already using it to calculate all the shadows and stuff like that. So it wasn't too hard to just grab that information. And I mean, getting the area of a sphere is pretty simple and cheap on its own. So it was pretty good. It was a very clever way to do the effect, and we used it in a lot of places to just sort of give things volume, which I thought was really clever.
Oh fuck!
He's behind you, Mike.
Oh yeah, that's fair. What's that gonna?
The other thing that Keith did in this game, and this actually affects what I'm seeing right now on this level, is that we got heat distortion effects for the first time.
Yes, heat. Oh man.
And we went so overboard with the heat distortion effects.
We loved it. It was one of our favorites.
We actually had those the talk about you need to stop using pink effects.
Right.
We had another one of those come to God meetings about heat distortion effects, which is like, you guys are using this way too much. You need to cut it back.
Where are you fucker? Another thing I noticed is that on this level we're using Al's new water system. Look, like this is the better water.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean before water planes were just two planes that had two scrolling textures that scrolled in different directions.
Yes.
But this one actually has some displacement to it, which is really neat. Yeah. Oh god.
Take the teleporter.
Yeah. And then
Come on, man.
And then we can
Be
see a shadow volume effect in action. See how all the particles sort of come off of Ratchet. That's how we did it.
That is exactly how we did it. Just expose a little bit of the magic to the people.
It's like watching the sausage get made, man.
You're not supposed to watch the sausage get made.
Oh wait, that's a bad thing? Shit.
That's a bad thing.
I watched what's funny is I watched a television episode on the Food Channel about how to make sausage, and it made me really hungry. I don't think that sort of thing works on me. Like, I watched Super Size Me, and I wanted McDonald's food.
Man, I could sit here and talk about the Food Network all day.
Oh yeah? Let's talk about the Food Network.
There's a lot. We don't need to talk about the Food Network, but I will say this: there is a show on the Food Network called The Sandwich King. That guy is the greatest guy that's ever lived. That guy, he is the best. I love that guy.
He comes in on top of Kurt Vonnegut.
He's the greatest guy on the Food Network. I'll put it that way.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I know you're a big enthusiast for the Food Network, so that says something.
Not usually. That guy. I'll watch that guy's show. That's the only show that I watch.
What?
It's on my TiVo.
You like watching like how to cook tasty things and like you're a hell of a cook, man.
I don't usually. I mean, again, I don't know how much conversation we're gonna get the Food Network. I don't watch it too often. I'll have it on the background. It's not on right now. I wish I had it on the background right now. Then I could, like, whenever you're talking, I could just watch delicious food.
Well, yeah. I mean, who wants to hear me talk? That's
not me. That's for damn sure.
God, this guy's hard, Tony. I don't know if I can do this.
Still though, Sandwich King, great guy. Everybody watch that show.
What's you know what? You're right. I don't know how much we can talk about the Food Network on here. What's Do you have anything else to add about this boss? Do you know anything? You sat next to Moo for a long time.
I mean, this was Moo's first big task, and I mean, there's a lot going on here. I wish we did actually bring him back, because I'm sure he would have a ton of insight. But I mean,
That's-
there was a lot of back and forth in terms of just getting this guy working. And
I was gonna say that's what we do here, man. We try to take the path of most resistance.
that's right.
Let's get Moo on and then not show any of his levels. I think
That's right. That was a great bit of coordination on our part.
It shows that we have the capability to plan and think critically. Oh, man. And all this for Courtney Gears.
That's right. But it's worth it for Courtney Gears.
Yeah, no, that's if you gotta do a really hard boss battle, you might as well
Dude,
have
you're close. Oh, there you
Yes.
go. You got it.
might as well have a music video at the end of it. Oh, where do I go? There I go. If I die now, I will be very sad. Oh, here it is. Hey, did you still want me to put the recording of Brad
Paul's?
and Paul
Yes.
singing over it?
You
Okay.
have to put Paul singing on it.
All right, I'll see if I can find it. And
Was this Paul's first game on at Insomniac?
No, I think Ratchet 2 was because
He came on Ratchet 2. Okay.
Mark was the main audio guy, and Jackie
On Ratchet 1.
and Jackie
that
did
was-
voiceover,
Yeah.
and then Mark left, and then I think Paul was his replacement.
Yeah. Are you feeling me, robots? Alright. Courtney Gears. Get your gears and gears. I see the future, and what do I see? Robots going crazy across the galaxy. Can't stand organics, they're soft and squishy. The time is now, we robots must be free.
Terminate, annihilate.
This goes out to all you robots across the galaxy. It's time for you and me to rise up and strike back. Don't stop until we dominate. Won't it feel great when we exterminate all organic?
I wish I could remember who animated this, because they did an amazing job.
I think it was
No, it was
Ryan.
Chooch.
Was it
Was
Chooch?
it Chooch?